So, The Way Home Season 4 Episode 3 leans deeper into its central mystery, but while the stakes are technically rising, the emotional pull isn't quite as strong as before. The episode continues to follow the disappearance of Tessa Cooper Augustine, with much of the focus tied to Elliot's search for answers about his mother. On paper, it's a compelling arc, but in execution, it doesn't hit the same way earlier seasons did when the Landry family mysteries were front and center. There's a sense that the story is moving towards a conclusion without fully exploring the threads that made the show so engaging in the first place. Part of that disconnect comes from everything surrounding the show itself. Knowing the story may not have enough time to fully resolve lingering question about the Landrys, the Goodwins, and the fractures between families adds a layer of hesitation to every reveal. Instead of feeling excited, it's hard not to watch with a bit of doubt about whether it will all play off. At the same time, the emotional dynamics have shifted. Earlier season thrived on evolving relationship, but now many of those arcs feel settled. With fewer uncertainties in the present day relationship, the narrative leans more heavily into the mystery elements, and so far those details aren't as gripping. That said, there are still threads keeping things interesting. Cat's growing concern about Alice and Max hints at deeper connection between timelines, especially with the possibility that Fern's child ties back to the Goodwin's lineage. These subtle links between past and present continue to be one of the show's strongest tools, even if the answer remain frustratingly out of reach. Alice's storyline reflects that same tension. Her relationship with Noah feels more like a safety net than something meaningful, especially compared to the spark she shares with Max. There's a sense that she is trying to hold on to control in a life constantly disrupted by time travel. She's already proven she can influence the future, but changing the past still feels impossible, and that uncertainty hangs over every decision she makes. Meanwhile, Kat and Elliot's relationship raises its own question. What looks like stability on the surface may actually be comfort rather than true passion. Kat continues to throw herself into the mystery, possibly as much for the answers as for Elliot himself. And Elliot's hesitation, especially around commitment, doesn't exactly inspire confidence in their future. When someone is risking everything for you, standing still starts to look a lot like stepping back. Elliot's personal journey with his father adds another emotional layer. Learning more about Vic and his relationship with Tessa reframes some long held assumptions. There's genuine love there, but also a deep misunderstanding that ripple into the present. It highlights how easily pain and miscommunication can shape entire lives and generation. Tessa herself becomes even more intriguing. The image of her as warm, loving presence is now complicated by hints of something darker, stealing money, leaving cryptic messages, and possibly embracing a fate she believed she deserved. It all suggests there's much to her story than anyone realized. Whether she was protecting Elliot or running from something within herself remains an open question. The time travel elements continue to weave everything together, sometimes elegantly, sometimes frustratingly. The recurring clues like the level motif, the connection to the Augustines, and the object appearing across timeline hint at a larger design, but the show keeps those answers just out of reach. There are also moments that feel underdeveloped. Griffin's long-awaited appearance, for example, is surprisingly brief, almost to the point of being disappointing given the build-up. It's one of those several instances where the show teases something significant without fully delivering. At least not yet. Still, not everything is heavy. There are lighter, almost throwaway moments like Sam asking Dell to move in that feel spontaneous and human, even if they don't tie directly into the larger narrative. And Cat landing in jail, it barely registers as a real threat, more a temporary obstacle than anything serious. In the end, this episode feels like a bridge. It connects timelines, build on existing mysteries, and sets up what's to come. But it also highlights a growing concern. There may be more questions than the story has time to answer. There's still intrigue, still emotional depth, and still that unique time travel charm. But whether it all comes together in a satisfying way remains uncertain, and that uncertainty is starting to shape the viewing experience itself. Thank you for watching. Bye.